This is the ultimate guide for 1v1s in Apex Legends, and today we're looking at two of the best legends in the game, Gibraltar versus Bloodhound. Let's lay down some ground rules on how these 1v1s would actually work. First of all, they're theoretical. It's not two actual opponents playing against each other. We're going to say that the person playing Gibraltar and the person playing Bloodhound are of exact same skill levels. Each legend would also use the exact same guns and start with the exact same supplies, so loot would be irrelevant. The theoretical 1v1 would take place on any of the arena maps. There would be 9 rounds, so there wouldn't be any ties. Each round, each legend would have all of their skills and ability to use, including their ultimate. Once you use it, the cooldown effects would come into play that are present in the BR game mode. So with all that said, let's take a look. Gibraltar versus Bloodhound. Arguably the two best legends in the game, a matchup between Gibraltar and Bloodhound would seem like it should be really epic, right? Not so fast. Gibraltar's skills and abilities in a 1v1 would prove to be much more useful than Bloodhound's. Let's break it down. Apex Legends is ultimately a team game, and with that in mind, Bloodhound is one of the most valuable champions in the game. His passive of being able to track enemies and his scans provide very useful information, not only for himself, but for his teammates as well. However, his passive is extremely useful for approaching and tracking unexpected enemies and catching them off guard. In a 1v1 situation, his enemy would already know he's coming. Also, Bloodhound's scan is extremely useful because he marks the location of an entire enemy team, if not multiple enemy teams. The problem with his scan is that when he does use his scan, he kind of gives away his own personal location. The scan is more useful for his teammates than it is for himself. In a 1v1 situation, being able to mark your enemy with a scan would be definitely useful, but giving away your own location almost makes it a wash. Bloodhound's ultimate ability, however, would be very useful in a 1v1. Having 30% increased speed, being able to track your enemy's footprints, and having enhanced vision would be extremely useful. The enhanced duration when getting a knock would not be useful at all, and the increased amount of scans would probably not be too useful as well either. All in all, Bloodhound gets a grade of B in a 1v1 situation. He's not completely useless, but he's not one of the stronger skill sets of champions either for a 1v1. He's more suited for team fights. Let's look at Gibraltar. Gibraltar is not only one of the best overall legends in the game, he would be extremely good in a 1v1 situation as well. Gibraltar essentially has an additional 50 shield because of his passive. Not to mention he's a fortified champion, which means he takes 15% less damage from all incoming attacks. With those two factors combined, Gibraltar has more health and shield than any legend in the game. Gibraltar's dome shield is also extremely useful, not only in team situations, but in a 1v1 situation as well. Yes, the shield provides cover if he's caught out in the open. However, the shield also can act as a wild card in the middle of a fight. Throwing up the shield and being able to use it effectively in a close quarter situation would be extremely useful, and in theory, nobody would be better at doing that than Gibraltar himself. Gibraltar's ultimate, however, would not be too useful in a 1v1 situation, as it's mostly used to apply pressure on a team once you've gotten a knock, or to zone or position yourself or an enemy team to give you an advantage. Those situations wouldn't happen too often in a 1v1. Because of the reduced damage he takes and all of the extra shielding that he has, Gibraltar should be able to win pretty much any 1v1 against a similarly skilled player. Gibraltar gets a grade of S in a 1v1 situation. So, who would win? 1v1 Gibraltar vs Bloodhound, 9 rounds. I think ultimately Gibraltar would win 6-3. Bloodhound is not completely useless in a 1v1, but he's not as strong in a 1v1 situation as Gibraltar is. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Who would you want to see next in the 1v1 matchup guide?